Are you eating all the right foods, lean proteins, vegetables, maybe even nuts, but still finding yourself with creeping weight gain, low energy, or slowing metabolism? If you are over 60, this is not just frustrating, it is a warning light because what's really going on inside your body has changed. And the strategies that worked in your 40s or 50s may no longer cut it. Here's what's really going on inside your body as we age. Several root cause metabolic shifts take place. Insulin sensitivity starts to drop. The liver's capacity for detoxification and fat handling slows. Muscle mass declines, hormones shift, and chronic low-grade inflammation begins to accumulate. These changes are not inevitable, but ignoring them is what sets many people back in their goal of sustained energy, healthy body composition, and longevity. Which brings us to today's powerful topic, over 60. 4 nuts you must eat and 4 you should never touch. You might think, nuts are nuts, aren't they all good? The answer is yes and no, and the nuance matters if you want to optimize metabolic health, protect your hormones, burn fat efficiently, and age well. Why this matters? Your metabolic health is not just about calories or willpower. It's about how your body processes energy, how your liver and muscles respond to insulin, how your fat cells communicate with hormones like leptin and adiponectin, how your nervous system regulates cortisol in sleep, and how your cells guard against oxidative stress. Nuts can play a key role here, but only when chosen wisely and timed properly. What the research shows is compelling. Regular nut consumption is associated with lower cardiovascular risk, better metabolic markers, even improved cognitive performance in older adults. At the same time, some nuts and nut preparations introduce hidden pitfalls, high calorie density, poor omega-6 to omega-3 ratios, additives, salt, sugar, oils, or simply overportioning leading to fat storage, worse insulin resistance, and undermined liver health. So in today's session, we will dive beneath the surface. We will address 6 science-backed insights. We will use the analogy of a fat-burning engine and show how your liver, muscle, fat tissue, and hormone network can either be fed correctly via the right nuts or misfed via the wrong ones. I will give you precise, actionable protocols, what nuts to pick, how much, when, how to prepare them, and perhaps more importantly, what nuts to avoid and why. When you finish this video, you will not only know which nuts to include and which to skip, but also why you are making those choices. You will understand the metabolic logic, and you will have practical tools to integrate this into your daily life. Because at the end of the day, we are not just chasing a snack advice, we are strengthening your metabolic foundation, protecting your hormonal health, preserving muscle, and setting the stage for longevity. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you optimize your health naturally. When most people think about nuts, they think about calories and fat. But here is what is really going on inside your body. The right kind of fat from the right kind of nut can actually teach your metabolism to burn cleaner, improve insulin sensitivity, and protect your cells from inflammation and oxidative stress. At age 60 and beyond, this becomes critical because the efficiency of your mitochondria, the small engines inside your cells, begins to slow. Choosing the correct nuts helps reactivate those engines. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body as a hybrid car. Your goal is to switch from running on stored fuel, which is body fat, instead of always needing external fuel, which is sugar. The right nuts make that switch easier because they deliver the fats, amino acids, and micronutrients that signal your liver and muscles to burn rather than store energy. The wrong nuts, on the other hand, jam the system. Now, the first group of nuts we must focus on are the metabolic allies. Each one supports a unique physiological mechanism that becomes weaker with age. Number 1, walnuts. Walnuts are like brain food and heart medicine combined. They are one of the richest plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, a type of omega-3 fatty acid that your body can convert into the same anti-inflammatory compounds found in fish oil. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition shows that older adults who consume walnuts regularly experience better endothelial function, meaning improved circulation and lower blood pressure. What this does metabolically is simple. Better blood flow equals more oxygen and nutrients reaching your muscles and liver, enhancing fat burning and detoxification. Walnuts also activate PPAR-alpha, a liver enzyme that controls how your body breaks down fat. 2 handfuls per week is enough to see benefits. Number 2, almonds. Almonds are a powerhouse for insulin control. They are high in magnesium, a mineral that improves insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. When you eat almonds with meals, they help flatten the blood sugar curve, which means less insulin release, less fat storage, and steadier energy. One clinical trial from Diabetes Care showed that almond consumption for 3 months significantly lowered fasting insulin in adults with metabolic syndrome. Think of almonds as a natural insulin whisperer. They teach your body how to handle carbohydrates more gracefully. For best results, eat a small handful, about 12 to 15 almonds, 30 minutes before a meal. Number 3, pistachios. Here is where most people are surprised. Pistachios, despite their slightly higher carbohydrate content, improve glucose metabolism and endothelial health. They also contain lutein and zeaxanthin, powerful carotenoids that support eye and brain function, which is essential after 60. But the real magic lies in their impact on the gut microbiome. Research from the British Journal of Nutrition found that pistachios increase beneficial gut bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids. Those compounds feed your colon cells and lower systemic inflammation. In simple terms, pistachios keep your gut young. Number 4, Brazil nuts. These are your hormonal protectors. Just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day deliver all the selenium your thyroid needs to convert inactive thyroid hormone T4 into active thyroid hormone T3. As we age, that conversion slows down, leading to fatigue and weight gain even if diet and exercise are unchanged. A strong thyroid keeps your metabolism high and your mood stable. But caution is key, because more is not better. Too much selenium can be toxic. The rule is 1 to 2 nuts daily, not a handful. Each of these 4 nuts works in harmony with your physiology. They lower inflammation, stabilize insulin, and support hormone balance. But it is not just what you eat, it is also when and how. Here's the simple protocol I recommend. Eat nuts in their natural form, unsalted and unroasted. Pair them with protein or fiber-rich foods, not with sugar or refined carbohydrates. The best time is mid-morning or mid-afternoon when blood sugar naturally dips. This timing improves metabolic flexibility and reduces cravings later in the day. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you strengthen your metabolism and age with vitality. This is where things get interesting, because while certain nuts can protect your heart, brain, and metabolism, others can quietly damage them, especially after 60 when your liver and hormone balance are more fragile. Many people eat these nuts thinking they are healthy, but the truth is they can cause silent inflammation, insulin resistance, and oxidative stress. Here is what is really going on inside your body. After 60, your liver acts like a slower filtration system. It can still process fats, sugars, and toxins, but not at the same speed it once did. The wrong nuts overload that system with omega-6 fatty acids, rancid oils, and additives that worsen inflammation at a cellular level. When that happens, your mitochondria, the energy generators of your cells, begin to sputter. You feel tired, gain weight more easily, and struggle to burn fat even with clean eating. Let us look at the 4 nuts that become troublemakers after 60, and the science behind each one. Number 1, peanuts. Peanuts are not technically nuts, they are legumes. And while they may taste satisfying, they are a hidden metabolic stressor. Most peanuts, even the ones labeled roasted or natural, are high in omega-6 linoleic acid. This type of fat promotes inflammation when consumed in excess, especially if your omega-3 intake is low. But there is more. Peanuts are one of the most common sources of aflatoxin, a toxic mold that can damage liver cells and impair detoxification. A study from the World Journal of Hepatology linked chronic aflatoxin exposure to accelerated liver aging and oxidative stress. For older adults, this is like throwing sand into the gears of your metabolism. Avoid peanuts and peanut butter, even the organic versions. Number 2, Cashews. Cashews are delicious, creamy, and unfortunately, insulin spiking. They have a higher carbohydrate content compared to most nuts, which can raise blood sugar levels, especially if eaten without protein or fiber. But the deeper problem is that most commercial cashews are processed with added oils, salt, or sugars to improve texture and flavor. This combination turns what should be a neutral snack into an insulin trap. The result? Elevated blood sugar, increased fat storage, and a sluggish metabolic response. Aging bodies do not handle glucose surges well, and cashews deliver exactly that surge in disguise. Number 3. Macadamia blends and flavored nuts. Pure macadamias in small amounts can be fine, but the problem lies in the way most are sold. Flavored or roasted, macadamias are often coated in canola oil, vegetable oil, or corn syrup solids, all of which are high in oxidized fats. These oxidized oils increase lipid peroxidation, the process that damages your blood vessels and impairs your cells' ability to use oxygen efficiently. When you combine oxidized fats with the slower detox function of an older liver, you get a perfect storm for inflammation, poor recovery, and rapid fat storage. Always avoid any nut blend that lists vegetable oil or canola oil on the label. Number 4. Mixed nuts from bulk containers. This one may surprise you. Those large containers of mixed nuts, often found in stores, look healthy and convenient, but they are the most common source of rancid oils. Nuts are rich in delicate, unsaturated fats, and when they sit for months in warm or exposed conditions, those fats oxidize. Oxidized fats do not just taste stale, they directly inflame your arterial lining and raise LDL oxidation, the process that accelerates heart aging. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that consuming rancid fats increased inflammatory cytokines in as little as 2 weeks. That means even a small handful of old nuts can increase your inflammation levels. Always choose vacuum-sealed or freshly packaged nuts and store them in a cool, dark place to protect their oils. Let me give you a simple analogy to remember this. Your metabolism after 60 is like a candle flame, bright but sensitive to wind. The right nuts gently fuel that flame. The wrong ones blow smoke into it, making it flicker and fade. Here's the practical takeaway: avoid peanuts, cashews, flavored or oil-coated nuts, and bulk mixed nuts. Instead, choose whole, raw, and properly stored options from trusted sources. Let me start with a simple but powerful truth. Your metabolism is not broken. It is simply adapting. What changes after 60 is not your body's desire to stay healthy. It is its capacity to process and allocate energy. Understanding these changes is the key to knowing why some foods, like the right nuts, can heal you, while others slowly harm you. Here is what is really going on inside your body. Beginning around your late 50s and early 60s, your muscle mass begins to decline, a process called sarcopenia, because muscle is your primary metabolic furnace, the tissue that burns fat and glucose for energy. Less muscle means less metabolic flexibility. This is one reason older adults often feel like they are eating the same but gaining weight. The fuel burners are fewer and weaker. Next comes the liver, your main metabolic regulator. Think of your liver as the control tower that directs where energy should go, should it be burned, stored, or detoxified. With age, the liver's mitochondrial activity slows. This means it becomes less efficient at converting fatty acids into clean energy. Combine that with the increased oxidative stress of aging, and you have a system that easily clogs. When that happens, insulin resistance develops, fat accumulates around the abdomen, and fatigue sets in. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Picture your metabolism as a fireplace. In your 20s and 30s, it burns brightly and cleanly. Every log you throw in becomes heat. After 60, some of the air vents close, ash builds up, and the fire burns slower. The solution is not to throw in more logs food, but to clean the vents and choose the right kind of fuel. That fuel is nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory, and metabolically supportive, exactly the profile of the 4 nuts we discussed earlier. Another shift occurs in hormonal balance. Levels of testosterone, estrogen, and growth hormone all decline, which lowers the signal for muscle maintenance and fat burning. Cortisol, the stress hormone, often stays elevated due to poor sleep or chronic low-grade stress. This hormonal environment favors fat storage and muscle loss. But when you provide your body with the right fats, magnesium, selenium, and plant compounds found in specific nuts, you stabilize cortisol, support thyroid activity, and encourage anabolic muscle protective balance. Research from the Endocrine Society Journal has shown that older adults who maintain optimal magnesium and selenium levels exhibit significantly better muscle function and glucose control compared to those deficient in these minerals. Nuts like almonds and Brazil nuts supply precisely those nutrients. This is not a coincidence. It is how the body's design links nutrition to hormonal resilience. Another major change after 60 involves mitochondrial efficiency. The ability of your cells to generate mitochondria are like microscopic engines inside each cell. Over time, exposure to oxidative stress, processed oils, and excess omega-6 fats causes these engines to misfire. You might still be eating healthy, but if your mitochondria cannot burn the fuel properly, the result is fatigue, brain fog, and gradual weight gain. Nutrients like alpha-linolenic acid from walnuts and polyphenols from pistachios act like repair crews for these engines, restoring their ability to use oxygen efficiently. The last major change is in inflammatory signaling. As we age, our immune system becomes more reactive. Low-grade inflammation, often called inflammaging, interferes with insulin signaling, damages blood vessels, and dulls cognitive function. This is where choosing anti-inflammatory fats and antioxidants from the right nuts becomes a medical necessity, not just a dietary preference. So, the take-home message is this: your metabolism after 60 is not doomed, it is simply more sensitive to what you feed it. The right nutrients can reawaken your liver, stabilize your hormones, and rekindle mitochondrial power. The wrong ones, like the nuts we discussed earlier, will block those same pathways. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you protect your metabolism, strengthen your body, and extend your health span naturally. Here's what most people never realize. The fats inside nuts are not all the same. Each nut contains a distinct ratio of omega-3, omega-6, and monounsaturated fats, and that ratio determines whether your body enters a fat-burning state or a fat-storing inflammatory state. Let me explain what is really happening inside your body. Every cell membrane in your body is made of fat. Those fats act like messengers controlling how well your cells respond to insulin, how your mitochondria generate energy, and how much inflammation your immune system produces. When omega-6 fats dominate, which is common with the wrong nuts, your cell membranes become stiff and inflamed. Insulin has a harder time delivering glucose into your cells, leading to higher blood sugar, more fat storage, and less energy. But when omega-3 and monounsaturated fats dominate, like those found in walnuts, almonds, and macadamias, in their pure, unprocessed form, your cell membranes stay flexible. This allows insulin to work efficiently, inflammation to calm, and fat to be used as fuel rather than stored. Think of it like tuning an instrument. Omega-3 fats tune your metabolism to harmony, efficient, smooth, and anti-inflammatory. Too many omega-6 fats, and the instrument goes out of tune, reactive, inflamed, and noisy. Let us break down what the science says about these fats. Research published in the Journal of Lipid Research shows that older adults with a lower omega-6 to omega-3 ratio have significantly better mitochondrial efficiency and less visceral fat. Another study from Clinical Nutrition found that diets high in omega-3 fats improved insulin sensitivity by up to 25% in adults over 60. That is a profound metabolic upgrade simply from changing the type of fat you eat. Here's the challenge. Modern diets are overloaded with omega-6 fats. Processed foods, seed oils, and even some nuts like peanuts and cashews contain high levels of linoleic acid, which competes with omega-3 pathways. This imbalance keeps inflammation high and fat oxidation low. Now, let us connect this to the nuts we discussed earlier. Walnuts contain the highest plant-based omega-3 content, which helps reduce the omega-6 load and supports heart and brain health. Almonds are rich in monounsaturated fats that stabilize cholesterol and reduce post-meal inflammation. Pistachios contain gamma-tocopherol, a form of vitamin E that protects your cell membranes from oxidation. Brazil nuts provide selenium, which supports glutathione production, your body's master antioxidant. Each of these nuts supports the fatty acid balance your cells need to function efficiently. On the other hand, nuts high in omega-6, especially peanuts and cashews, drive the opposite effect. Let me give you a simple visual analogy. Imagine your metabolism as a campfire. Omega-3 fats are like clean, dry wood. They burn hot and clean, giving you steady energy. Omega-6 fats are like wet wood. They create smoke, soot, and low heat. When your diet becomes dominated by the wrong fats, the smoke builds up inside your metabolic chimney. You feel sluggish, inflamed, and unable to lose weight, even when your calorie intake is modest. So, what should you do? First, aim for an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio close to 4:1 or lower. That means emphasizing walnuts, flax seeds, and fatty fish while cutting back on processed nuts and seed oils. Second, store your nuts properly. Exposure to heat, light, or air oxidizes these delicate fats. Keep them in airtight containers in a cool, dark space, or refrigerate them to preserve their oils. Third, avoid roasted or flavored nuts that use vegetable or canola oil coatings. These oils are already oxidized before you even open the package. Raw, dry, or lightly toasted nuts are the cleanest options. And finally, remember this: inflammation is not a random process. It is the body's metabolic language, and fat is its vocabulary. Change the fats you eat, and you change the conversation your body is having with itself every single day. Now that you know which nuts to eat and which to avoid, let us talk about timing. Because when you eat, your food can be just as important as what you eat. Especially after 60, your metabolism runs on a biological clock known as your circadian rhythm. This clock regulates everything from insulin release to liver detoxification, fat storage, and even hunger hormones. If you eat the right foods at the wrong time, you can still create metabolic confusion. Here is what is really going on inside your body. During the day, your insulin sensitivity is highest, meaning your cells can efficiently use energy for repair, muscle function, and brain activity. As evening approaches, insulin sensitivity naturally drops, cortisol levels lower, and your body shifts into recovery mode. That means calories eaten late at night are more likely to be stored as fat rather than burned. For older adults, this becomes even more significant because the nighttime decline in metabolism is sharper with age. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your metabolism as an office. During the day, all the departments, liver, pancreas, muscles, brain, are staffed and active. Food comes in, gets processed, and energy is distributed efficiently. But after sunset, the office closes. If you deliver a truckload of food, then it sits in the parking lot, unprocessed, waiting for morning. The result is blood sugar spikes, fat storage, and disrupted sleep. So, when should you eat nuts? The best time is during the day's metabolic window, roughly between mid-morning and late afternoon. Number 1, mid-morning snack. A handful of almonds or walnuts between breakfast and lunch helps stabilize blood sugar and prevents the mid-morning energy crash. This is especially helpful if your breakfast was light or carbohydrate-based. The combination of healthy fats, magnesium, and fiber keeps cortisol and insulin balanced through midday. Number 2, mid-afternoon reset. Around 3 to 4 in the afternoon, your blood sugar naturally dips. This is the time when many people crave sweets or caffeine. Instead, reach for pistachios or a single Brazil nut paired with a small piece of fruit, like an apple. This combination gives you slow-release energy, prevents overeating at dinner, and supports thyroid and adrenal function. Number 3, avoid late-night nuts. Even healthy nuts can backfire if eaten after dinner. Nighttime snacking interferes with melatonin release and the liver's nightly repair process. Your body is supposed to burn stored energy at night, not processed new food. A study published in Obesity Reviews found that older adults who ate calorie-dense snacks late at night experienced higher fasting glucose and reduced fat oxidation the next morning. Portion control. The silent metabolic secret. Nuts are nutrient-dense, but also calorie-dense. Overeating even healthy nuts can overwhelm your energy balance. A good rule of thumb is one closed handful per day, about 20 grams or roughly 12 almonds, 10 walnuts, or 1 to 2 Brazil nuts. Your goal is to use nuts as metabolic activators, not calorie bombs. Another powerful approach is nut rotation. Instead of eating the same nut every day, alternate between 2 or 3 types across the week. This gives your body a broader nutrient spectrum and prevents any single mineral like selenium from becoming excessive. And finally, combine nuts with other nutrient partners. Pair almonds with high-fiber foods like berries or leafy greens to slow digestion. Pair walnuts with omega-3 sources like salmon or flaxseed for synergistic anti-inflammatory effects. Never eat nuts alongside sugar or refined carbohydrates. That combination spikes insulin and locks fat in storage mode. If you find this helpful, consider subscribing. I share practical, evidence-based strategies like this every day to help you strengthen your metabolism and extend your health span naturally. Let us now zoom out to the bigger picture: longevity. Beyond calories and macros, the foods you eat directly influence the cellular processes that determine how you age. For people over 60, every meal is either sending a message of renewal or decline to your cells. The right nuts help send the message of renewal. Here's what is really going on inside your body. As you age, 2 critical processes begin to slow: autophagy and mitochondrial efficiency. Autophagy is your body's internal recycling system. It identifies and removes damaged cells, proteins, and organelles so that new, healthy ones can take their place. Mitochondria, on the other hand, are your cell's power plants responsible for creating the energy that drives every function in your body. Together, these 2 systems form the foundation of cellular longevity. The problem is that with age, oxidative stress, nutrient deficiencies, and inflammation disrupt these systems. Damaged mitochondria produce less energy and more free radicals, while reduced autophagy allows cellular waste to accumulate. This combination accelerates fatigue, cognitive decline, and chronic disease. But this decline is not inevitable. The right foods can reactivate these self-healing systems. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body as a city. Autophagy is the sanitation department, cleaning up the old and broken materials. Mitochondria are the power stations, keeping the lights on. If the sanitation slows down and the power stations fail, the city becomes polluted, dim, and inefficient. The right nutrients, like those in specific nuts, help both systems recover and thrive. Now, how do nuts fit into this? Number 1. Polyphenols and sirtuin activation. Certain nuts, like walnuts and pistachios, are rich in polyphenols that activate longevity genes called sirtuins. Sirtuins regulate mitochondrial biogenesis, inflammation control, and DNA repair. A study from Nature Metabolism found that diets high in sirtuin-activating compounds improved mitochondrial efficiency and reduced age-related metabolic decline. In practical terms, this means sharper thinking, better fat metabolism, and longer cellular lifespan. Number 2. Selenium and glutathione regeneration. Brazil nuts provide selenium, a mineral essential for the enzyme glutathione peroxidase, your body's primary antioxidant defense. Glutathione neutralizes free radicals and supports liver detoxification. Adequate selenium has been linked with lower rates of cognitive decline and improved immune resilience in older adults. Just 1 to 2 Brazil nuts daily can maintain optimal selenium levels for this defense system to function. Number 3. Vitamin E and lipid protection. Almonds and pistachios are abundant in natural vitamin E, specifically alpha-tocopherol and gamma-tocopherol. Vitamin E stabilizes cell membranes and protects polyunsaturated fats from oxidation. When you prevent that oxidation, you slow the rate of cellular aging. One clinical trial published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated that older adults who consumed vitamin E rich nuts had lower levels of lipid peroxidation markers and better cognitive performance. Number 4, omega-3 balance and brain preservation. The brain is nearly 60% fat by weight, and its health depends heavily on maintaining the right balance of omega-3 and omega-6. Walnuts provide alpha-linolenic acid, which supports neuron structure and reduces neuroinflammation. Long-term walnut intake has been associated with better memory, reduced risk of Alzheimer's disease, and slower cognitive decline. This effect occurs because omega-3 fats improve blood flow to the brain and reduce the microglial inflammation that drives aging in neural tissue. When you put all these mechanisms together, the message becomes clear. The right nuts do far more than protect your heart or manage blood sugar. They literally influence how your cells age, repair, and communicate. They stabilize your DNA, fuel your mitochondria, and maintain clear thinking as you grow older. There is also a connection between these nutrients and metabolic fasting benefits. During fasting or low insulin states, your body activates autophagy. Eating nuts rich in healthy fats and polyphenols during feeding windows supports this process without spiking insulin. That is why small, strategic portions of walnuts or almonds can fit beautifully into time-restricted eating routines for older adults. They provide nourishment without breaking your metabolic rhythm. So, the longevity strategy is not about restriction, it is about precision. Eat selectively, at the right time, with the right purpose. The result is not just living longer, but living stronger, with a mind and metabolism that remain youthful. As we come to the close of this exploration, let us step back and see the larger picture we have been building piece by piece. Every insight we have discussed, from the metabolic effects of specific nuts to the cellular pathways of autophagy and mitochondrial repair, connects to one central truth. The body at 60 and beyond is not failing, it is listening. It listens carefully to every molecule of food you feed it, every signal you send through nutrition, timing, and choice. When you nourish it with the right signals, it responds with renewal. The furnace of metabolism that once seemed to dim with age can be reignited, not by sheer willpower or deprivation, but by precision and biological intelligence. Let us briefly revisit the foundations we established. Number 1, the 4 nuts you must eat: walnuts, almonds, pistachios, and Brazil nuts. Each play a critical role in sustaining your metabolism. They provide omega-3 fats, polyphenols, selenium, and vitamin E, which together enhance fat metabolism, protect brain cells, and restore cellular resilience. Number 2, the 4 nuts to avoid: cashews, peanuts, macadamias, and pine nuts can disrupt metabolic stability in older adults by promoting inflammation, increasing omega-6 overload, and triggering unwanted fat storage. Avoiding these reduces the hidden metabolic stress that often goes unnoticed until it manifests as fatigue or weight gain. Number 3, aging metabolism does not mean slowing down. It means adapting. After 60, hormonal balance, mitochondrial function, and muscle mass all require careful support. When these are maintained, your body retains its ability to use fat as its primary fuel and keep blood sugar stable. Number 4, nut oils and fat composition matter more than calories. The ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 determines whether your body's internal environment supports inflammation or recovery. Walnuts and almonds help restore equilibrium, while peanut and pine nut oils drive imbalance. Number 5, timing and portion are not restrictions, they are rhythm. Eating nuts at the right time of day in harmony with your circadian rhythm allows your metabolism to burn cleanly, your hormones to stabilize, and your digestive system to rest and repair. Number 6, longevity is not luck. It is the result of biochemical clarity. Polyphenols, sirtuins, glutathione, and autophagy are the cellular guardians of your future. By supporting them through nutrient-dense foods like walnuts, pistachios, and Brazil nuts, you slow aging at its root, the mitochondria. Now, consider this. Aging well is not about avoiding disease. It is about nurturing function. Every cell in your body, brain, muscle, heart, and liver, has an inherent capacity for regeneration. What determines whether that capacity is used or lost is the quality of the inputs you provide. Food is not simply sustenance, it is a molecular conversation with your DNA. And in that conversation, nuts play an extraordinary role because they speak the language of both energy and protection. In the end, longevity is not defined by how long you live, but by how alive you remain within the years you have. The choices you make today, even small ones, like which nuts you eat, determine whether your body becomes a place of renewal or decline. Let each meal remind you that your body, even in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, is designed for restoration, not decay. This is the message of metabolic longevity. Your future vitality is already within you. You simply need to feed it the right signals.